Hello, humans. Michael Herrick here with HIPAA for Humans, realistic cybersecurity advice for healthcare. In a recent video, we talked about ransomware and we talked about reducing the impact of a ransomware attack. If a ransomware attack is successful against your organization, what can you do to make your organization more resilient, better able to respond, and better able to bounce back from a ransomware attack? It all comes down to data backups and testing those data backups. And impact is an important area to focus on first with ransomware. The ransomware attacks that are out there, they're so devious and they're so widespread that many IT managers feel like it's just a matter of time before their organization is hit with a ransomware attack. So you better be ready to respond to ransomware attacks. But I like to be a little bit more optimistic and a little bit less fatalistic. I don't think that it's an absolute necessity that you're going to be hit with ransomware. There are things that you can do to reduce the likelihood of a ransomware attack. Remember, those are the two prongs of risk management: reducing the impact of a successful attack, but then also reducing the likelihood that an attack will succeed. So here are 3 security controls you could apply at your organization that'll make it less likely that you'll ever even have to deal with a ransomware attack. First of all, protecting your organization from social engineering. Many ransomware attacks start out as social engineering attacks. So anything you can do to protect your organization from social engineering is going to protect you from ransomware. And the foremost control that you can implement to protect yourself from social engineering is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication means that even if a con artist tricks one of your staff into giving up their password, a password alone is not enough for them to gain access. A password alone will not enable that criminal to install ransomware on your systems. They'll have to go through that second level of authentication. So implementing multi-factor authentication, if you haven't already done that at your organization, it's probably one of your number one priorities for protecting your organization from social engineering, which in turn will protect you from ransomware attacks. A second control that you can implement to protect yourself from ransomware is reducing the privileges on users' workstations. If users have full privileges to do all admin functions on their workstations, that means they also have the privileges to install malware on their workstations. They can be tricked into double-clicking malicious attachments in their email. They can be tricked into installing malware on their systems, which could lead to ransomware on your workstations and on your network. So reducing users' privileges, making sure that they have just the minimum privileges that they need to do their day-to-day work. And when they do need to do admin level functions like installing new software, if they do need that, and if they need to be able to do that without the assistance from IT, they have a separate admin account and they switch over to that admin account consciously. They make a conscious decision to switch over to that highly privileged account before they do any functions that could have security implications. This can really protect you from inadvertent installations of malware and ransomware, reducing the privileges on user workstation. And then the third thing that you can implement at an organization is vulnerability scanning. It's fairly common for us to see ransomware attacks that come through an open port on the network, an open protocol on the network that nobody knew was there. It was a port that was left open, maybe a default setting, or maybe something was opened up for testing purposes, maybe years and years ago, and was never tracked afterwards. We recently responded to a ransomware attack that came in through an open remote desktop port. Nobody in the IT department was aware that that port was even open and responding to traffic. And so it made them vulnerable to a credential stuffing attack, which eventually led to a ransomware attack. Vulnerability scanning is a cheap, easy way to find those open ports, those open protocols on your network and shut them down before a ransomware attack takes advantage of them. So there's 3 security controls that you could implement at your organization. The specific controls that you're going to be looking for that are going to be effective for you depends entirely on your environment, the technology you're using, how your staff works day to day. So to really find an effective effective set of controls that are really going to be tailored for your organization and really reduce that risk. That's the job of a risk assessment. Looking at all of your systems and figuring out where you have gaps and what's going to be a reasonable and effective control to implement at your organization. That's the job of a risk assessment. That's what we do at Matterform. So if you need help with a risk assessment, if you need help meeting that compliance obligation, and you also want to do it in a way that's going to help you identify vulnerabilities and reduce those vulnerabilities, reduce your risks to ransomware, give us a call here at Matterform. I'm Michael with HIPAA for Humans. See you next time.